Hey everybody, this is Buzz Stone checking in with episode number 9 of AirWaves. And in this episode, I'm going to do an unboxing of this. It's the Uniden Bearcat 980 Single Sideband CB Radio. It's next on AirWaves. Hey, this is Buzz Stone checking in with episode number 9 of AirWaves. And as promised, here it is. A brand new Uniden Bearcat 980 Single Sideband CB Radio. I just received this in the mail yesterday. Has not been opened. We're going to do an unboxing here. But before we do, I just thought we'd kind of just look at the box itself. Explain some of the features of the radio. Single Sideband CB, which gives you 80 more channels and triple the power of a regular CB radio. And that's because it has upper and lower sideband, and which gives you the more channels. Plus you get more power, 12 watts when you're operating in single sideband mode. Has a noise canceling microphone to reduce background noise. Large, easy to read meter, LCD meter display. It says down here it's also wireless microphone compatible. If we look here on the side of the box, I think this is a pretty neat feature. It has 7 different backlit colors, so you can personalize the look of your radio. Either if you're putting your vehicle either to match the color of the gauges in your vehicle, or if you just have a certain color that you like or you think it's easier to read for you, you can dial those in. That's pretty cool. And on the back, gives you all the different controls, which we'll talk about that later. But anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and open this thing up. Which, you know, first time open, it's always easier said than done, right? So let's see what we got here. First thing out of the box. I'm guessing this is the microphone. Yep. So let's see. I believe I read, yep, this is the microphone. I believe I read that this has a 9-foot cable, which obviously that's not 9 feet, but it is coiled, of course. You could stretch it out, but I'm guessing probably more like 6 feet of usable. You wouldn't want to stretch it out for the full 9 feet. But yeah, kind of a cool looking microphone. So we'll set that there for now. Also in that box we have the power cable, which has the fuse link in it. Also, now this is pretty cool. Okay, this is an adapter for the microphone. It comes with a 6-pin microphone, which I don't know if you can see that or not. 6-pin, but this adapts it from a 6-pin to a 4-pin. So let's say you had a desk mic like a D104 or something that you wanted to use. Then that's pretty cool of them to include that in there. And then you've got your mounting hardware. These are the thumb screws to tighten the radio into the mounting bracket. And that's the microphone holder. And there's the mounting bracket itself. That's all that's in that box. Alright. That's the remainder. So we'll go ahead and set the box aside. There's the CB radio service rules. So this is not a manual, this is the rules according to the FCC to use the Citizens Band. Of course, Nobody follows those rules anymore, and I don't know if the FCC even bothers to try and enforce them or not, but apparently the rules still are in effect, and they're in there if you have any question about those. So let's open up the main box here. It's well packed and protected. There's the main radio itself. Before I do that, here's the actual owner's manual. Uniden Bearcat 980 SSB owner's manual. And going through that, tells you how to use each of the controls. Okay. So now the radio itself. Now, I'm not going to power the radio on today. I'll be doing a separate review video of the radio later on. This is just an unboxing to give you an idea of what the radio looks like. We've zoomed in for a closer look here, looking at the front panel of the radio, and we've got a column of buttons here on the right. We have more buttons across the bottom of the radio, and we have 3 knobs. The microphone input, which is right here. This here is your power switch and volume, and this inner knob here is your squelch control. And then over here on the bottom right corner, this is your clarifier for when you're using the single sideband over there. And there's also a fine, this is the coarse actually clarifier, and this is the fine clarifier down below. And then this up here is your menu button. So when your display is lit up, you can go into the menu and select what it is that you want to adjust, and by pressing the button, that's the OK or enter. And if you can hear that, each time you turn it there's a click, which is nice. Has the LCD display, of course, and to run through the buttons across the bottom, we have, if this were lit, you would have your meter here on the left side of the display, and it's a multi-purpose meter, and that's what this switch down here is for. You can toggle between signal strength, RF output, and calibration, and SWR, standing wave ratio. The next button is the CB/PA, so you can go back and forth between CB mode and the public address mode. We'll look at the back of the radio in a minute because that ties into that. And then over here, this is the memory scan. So if you want, you can put, if there are certain channels, frequencies that you use a lot, you can put them into memory, and then you can scan through those. And I believe you can probably just scan all the frequencies in general if you want to, which is a nice feature. You don't have to manually sit there and go through one by one if you're looking to find something on the band there. And then this over here is your channel 9, which was the old emergency frequency, channel 19, which the truckers use, and they still do. I had my standard CB on today, listening to some traffic on 19. And then you have normal operation, which would be all 40 channels and your single sideband frequencies as well. So you can go between those 3 modes. Over here you have your automatic noise limiter and noise blanking. You can go between those 2 functions. And this over here is your mode button, where you go between regular AM, CB, and upper and lower sidebands. Going on up here in the right column, you have your weather. That's another nice feature of this radio. It does have the local weather frequencies available. You can tune it for the one that's in your area and lock that in. You also have your microphone gain, so you can adjust the volume of your microphone. And again, that is a noise canceling microphone. And then you also have RF gain, so you can adjust the power, but I'm guessing most people would leave that at full power all the time. And then you have talkback, so you can actually hear what you sound like when you are transmitting on the radio. So those are the features on the front panel. So we'll turn it on around. On the back, pretty typical looking. We have the SO239 female coax plug there. This is where your coax cable will screw onto. Down here is where your power cable plugs into. It's a 3-pin power cable. And then here we have 2 jacks. One, this jack here on the left is for your PA system. So let's say you have, typically you would have like a horn type speaker. And so you had this mounted in your vehicle, and you would mount your horn speaker probably under the hood somewhere near the front of the grill. You can feed that, and you remember I showed you the button on the front where you could go back and forth between CB and PA. And then you also have an external speaker jack there. So if maybe your radio's in a place where you can't hear the audio real well, because I see it's on the bottom. The speaker is right here. So say you had your radio mounted so it's facing down towards the floor. Maybe your hearing's not that great, or there's a little, you're in a noisy cabin or something. You can't hear your speaker too well. You could hook an external speaker up here and mount that speaker whatever is convenient for you. Of course, on the sides we have typical mounting hole. This is where your thumb screws go in to mount the radio to the bracket. And if you see down here, there's these 3 little holes. That's where your microphone holder mounts, and I'm pretty sure that the reason it's like this is so you can mount it either vertically, so if you want to slide your microphone down in to the holder like that, you could do it, or you could mount it horizontally so it would slide in like that. Just whatever works for you. Of course, on the other side, you also have the microphone mounting screws or holes over here on this side, so you can mount the mic on either side, which that's good. And of course, the other screw hole for the thumb screws. So that's the layout of the Uniden Bearcat 980 single sideband radio. A little larger than I expected, but that's okay. I plan to use it in the house for a base station. I'm not going to use it in my vehicle, but I like a larger frame anyway. I think it gives the circuitry inside more space to breathe, so you don't get overheating issues. A little lighter than I thought maybe it would be. Another thing I wanted to point out here on the back, I noticed here on the data tag here, it says Uniden America Corporation, model Bearcat 980 SSBW. I'm not sure what the W means. Maybe I'm sure somebody out there knows. You could put down in the comment section if you would, but SSB standing for single sideband. That's got the FCC ID number on there. And this serial number is etched in here. This is kind of a surprise. It says it's made in Vietnam. Did not know that Vietnam was making radios, but you're just seeing that more and more nowadays, things being manufactured in Vietnam. So there you have it. This was the unboxing of the Uniden Bearcat 980 SSB radio. Again, this is just an unboxing. Later on, after I get it all connected and operating, I'll do a review and run it through its paces and show you how everything works. So, if you liked the video, appreciate it if you'd subscribe, like it, and share it with your friends as we try to grow the AirWaves channel. This is Buzz. I'll see you down the dial.